importantly, Facebook plays a key role for OEMs, manufacturers, and brands to build their businesses using that medium. The question really is why digital and why today, right? So as you saw in the report that we talked about today, 70% of the sales of automobiles by 2020, which is it's going to be a $58 billion industry, is going to be digitally influenced. That's about $40 billion worth of actual sales going to be digitally influenced in the country, in India, in 2020, right? When you think about that rate of change, that's about 2.5 times, close to 2.5 times of what it is today. The discrepancy really lies in the fact that today digital advertising is only 8 to 10% of any OEM's budget or any dealer's budget, right? Whereas 70% of the influence is coming off that medium. So that dichotomy needs to be fixed because, as you heard the team from Bain point out through their global automotive study that they did, while India is 8 to 10%, other markets are leading it well beyond over 45 to over 50%. So the first thing that, what is the opportunity? So the opportunity really is around following the customer, using digital as a medium which is driving the biggest influence. Now, in order to break that down, the way we at Facebook really think about it is we help you as brands, as automobile manufacturers, as brands, both in India and across the world, to really do two things. The first is build your brand online, and the second is to move sales. So we move business, and we think about our role as a medium to drive business outcomes, real world business outcomes. Now, when you break that out, when you're doing a launch of a new automobile or you are launching a vehicle, you really think about the consumer journey across the funnel, right? There is the discovery part of the funnel where someone discovers that content. Then there is the awareness and consideration piece. Then it is the ability to walk into the dealership, to close a sale, and to drive a post-purchase behavior all through a digital medium, right? And track that entire conversion over time. And at Facebook, what we think about is we give you the ability to really understand who your target audience for that automobile really is. So for instance, today, we are amongst the largest reach platforms in India, where we have over 184 million active individuals on the platform and nearly 2 billion people across the world, India being the second largest market. So when we think about the consuming class, which is about 150 million NCCS AB urban Indians, they're already on the platform, right? And the way we work with brands is to really understand what are the signals or the intent signals or behavior. So for instance, somebody says, I'm interested in cars. Now, over 67% of people in Facebook India have listed automobiles as a preference area, right? So you now have the ability to reach out to these target audiences with personalized, relevant, meaningful communication, such that that ad induces a response and it is personally relevant for that individual or that target audience. And we give you deeply immersive experiences to do that. So one could be something as basic as just an image, something as rich as video, or something as, which is what our canvas is all about, or a completely immersive experience which looks like a microsite, right? Literally within the Facebook medium or the platform. That's the opportunity for brands right at the top of the funnel, right? To really drive awareness. And what we found is we've helped brands drive 3 types of outcomes. On the brand side, we've given them at a minimum 5 points of incremental lift over traditional mediums like television at 1/7 the cost, right? At the consideration phase, which is more middle funnel metrics, right? We're helping large brands drive over 7 to 10 points of increase in consideration metrics at 1/3 of the cost of television, right? And so the medium is kind of working. On the bottom of the funnel, today we're working with some of the largest brands to actually help them sell cars, sell homes online. So for instance, we've helped Ford and Chevrolet sell cars during their launches in India on the platform. We've helped Tata Housing sell over 250 homes online, right? And so today there is a way to convert and track that conversion in the offline world. Now coming to the role of the dealer, right? The team from Bain very clearly pointed out from their research how the role of the dealer is evolving, right? And how it needs to kind of change and move forward. The same applies to the dealers, right? So what an OEM is doing across the country, a dealer needs to take that learning and really apply geo-targeting or targeting of their individuals in their micro markets that they're operating in, right? Because, for instance, if I'm a dealer in Baroda, in a certain part of Baroda, I'm not going to reach out to audiences in, in Surat down south, because my target audience who will come to the dealership is literally in that vicinity, right? So it's really applying those principles and shifting dollars or marketing dollars, because the automotive segment is the second largest spender in the digital or in the overall ADEX in the country. After FMCG, it is actually automobiles and then e-commerce, right?
You talked about blurring the line between online and offline. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think, when I talked about the blurring lines between online and offline, it really is in the earlier world, in the offline, in yesteryears, you bought an automobile by walking into a dealership. Everything happened offline. Yes, you got some awareness through billboards and television, but a large part of that journey was offline, right? Today, what's happening is before you buy a car, you research online, you discover content, you engage with that content. You may do it on a mobile phone, you may come and watch a more high-res video on your desktop. You may engage with friends on social mediums to get opinions, to get inputs and feedback. You may call up friends. A large part of your decision is taken before you walked offline. So online has become a medium by which you are influencing a decision. 70% of people have already decided on the brand that they want to buy before they enter a dealership, right? And about 50% is on the model. So that entire behavior is happening offline. So today, walking into a dealership is just about the last bottom of the funnel, finalizing the price and closing the deal. So the influence could happen on any medium, anywhere across the funnel at any point of time. And that's why we believe that these lines are blurring. It's not that influence is going to happen or awareness is going to happen rather in the online world or in the, on advertising mediums, and conversion will happen offline. Today it's happening everywhere, right? These lines are blurring, they're crisscrossing, and the device play is making it even more interesting, because you can start on one device as a mobile, move to a tablet, move to a desktop, literally even when you're watching a television ad. What we found is more than 70% of people on Facebook who are watching a television ad during ad breaks come back to the platform, right? And they're looking at Facebook as a point of influence or as a point of discovery at that point. So we're seeing these lines cross over. And that's why I think the strategy for OEMs or for dealers is really to be where their target audience is. When you think about reach, over 184 million people on the platform, spending the kind of time mobile today enjoys disproportionate time spent versus any other medium of over 2.5 hours a day, right? No other medium has that kind of numbers. And then the ability to personalize marketing at scale with clear targeting is really the key differentiator. And the only way you can do that is if you have the ability of shifting your marketing and advertising strategy to where the influence really is, which is digital mediums. And in my world, I think of digital in this country as mobile.